What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Design Huddle. It is your boy Brandon Groce and Ryan Warner back at it again to bring you guys some amazing topics. This morning we have Tesla buys 1.5. Is it actually billion, Ryan?
With a B.
Or is it with a B? What? I didn't even know it was like that. I was like, oh, it's an M. I was like, what's there's an M there.
Yeah.
But so 1.5 billion in Bitcoin. We'll talk about that. Ryan, if you guys don't know, he's like the minister of all things Bitcoin. He's literally like my financial advisor when it comes to Bitcoin.
But I'm actually not a financial advisor, so everything
yes.
I say do not take seriously. But
exactly.
Thank you, Brendan.
But stay woke.
Nice
Stay woken on Bitcoin with Ryan. We'll also be getting into minimalism and selling your clothes online with these very easy applications. And also, more importantly, we're going to talk about Disney Plus and its 1 million users in just a few months and why this is important as us designers. Because I know a lot of you guys are probably like, Brandon, you're a designer. You guys are both designers. Why are you guys talking about these things? It's super important to understand, like, technology is super important for us to understand how it's maneuvering, where money is being put, so that we can get our butts in the seats where the money is going.
Yeah,
All right,
Ryan.
Ryan.
I think that's huge. I mean, Brendan, just to double down on that for a sec, right? It's like good designers. It's like that Wayne Gretzky famous cliche quote. You have to go where the puck is going, right? Like we have to look at where the industries are going, where technologies are going. And if you have a better sense of what's going on around you, you're going to be more successful as a leader in both business and design. So, yeah, we were stacked agenda today. I know there's some people that are probably a little tired of hearing about Bitcoin, so I'll try to make that as interesting as possible. I do think it's a very interesting, trendy topic that there's a ton of value for us to kind of get into and to discuss. So with that, let's talk about the first one. Brandon, you want to switch over to... Let's dive right into it. So Bitcoin jumped to a record high after MasterCard and Bank of New York Mellon Corp moved to make it easier for their customers to use cryptocurrencies. The largest digital asset rose as much as 8.1% to $48,000, surpassing the all-time high reached Monday after Tesla announced it would hold 1.5 billion with a B of the cryptocurrency on its balance sheet. The wider Bloomberg Galaxy Crypto Index has touched a record. Bitcoin appears to be a near perfect storm for higher prices, and Tesla has helped solidify about $50,000 as the next whole number resistance target. And that came from a Bloomberg intelligence strategist. So this article is from Bloomberg. We'll link in the show notes. So stepping back for a second, basically what's happened here is Tesla says, rather than just having cash sit on hand, we're going to take that cash and we're going to have it work for us. So they bought a ton of Bitcoin, $1.5 billion of Bitcoin. And since then, since they've been buying it, the price has gone through the roof. They've already made a ton of money from investing in it. So this is interesting for a lot of reasons, but let's step back for a second. Let's say you know nothing about Bitcoin. You have no idea why it's important. So I'm going to quickly walk through what Bitcoin is and why it's important. So fast forward back to 2007. The market is just at the brink of collapse. Unemployment is through the roof. People are in very poor shape because of the mismanagement by big banks. Trust for large corporations is at an all-time low. And, the common everyday American is in a bad spot. So this guy named Satoshi Nakamoto, some people think it's an individual, some people think it's a group. No one knows who it is. So that's the first thing. But basically, no one knows who Satoshi is, but she had the mission for a new kind of currency back in 2008. So this kind of came from, the financial collapse, rose this idea of Bitcoin. So from this, the new currency or cryptocurrency would not be centrally controlled by any business or government. This is like one of the most important pieces. So when you get paid, the U.S. government is printing money from the Fed. That money is backed by the U.S. government. Bitcoin is backed by everyone in the network. So there's no CEO, there's no government, there's no country that owns Bitcoin. So that's why people say that's why it's such a powerful technology, is because as the network grows, so does the strength of the blockchain. And the other thing is that like you can't, like give a subpoena to the CEO, because there is no CEO. When you buy into Bitcoin, you're buying into the network and you're buying into the power of the currency. All right, so moving on real quick. They call it Bitcoin because it's a radically new way to transact and store value all around the world. So this is the thing that I want to make very clear. When you think Bitcoin, you should just immediately think digital gold. Think of Bitcoin as a digital version of a bar of gold. It's a store of value. And the reason that gold has value is that it can be used for many different things. We say gold has value, and there is an inherent value to it. And one of the things that makes Bitcoin more valuable than gold is there's only 21 million Bitcoin that'll ever be made. So there's a limited supply. Naturally, if you have a limited supply, more people want it, the price will go up. So Bitcoin holds its value because there's a limited amount, as I mentioned. It's kind of like a gold nugget or silver. So there's only a limited amount of it. You can also split one Bitcoin. You don't have to buy a full Bitcoin. You can buy 0.00001. You can put $5 into Bitcoin. You can put 5 million, 5 billion, etc. So there's really, it can be further subdivided. Powerful computer networks created unique Bitcoin by using complex math. This is called mining. I'm sure you've heard about this. The mining is also one of the most controversial parts of Bitcoin because it's has a pretty bad impact on the environment. They've made strides to make it better, but it still has a lot of room where it needs to continue to become more energy efficient. All right, so wrapping this up, you've also kind of heard of blockchain. So it's a new kind of database. The blockchain validates that each Bitcoin exists. So if I pay Brendan on the blockchain, anybody can view that transaction happened. They can see that a hashed string of numbers and letters was sent from one user to another user. So all of the transactions are all publicly available. That's the thing that's so different, is there's no middleman, there's no bank to manage this. And that's what's the power. It's a peer-to-peer transaction where you don't need a bank like a Venmo or a TD or Bank of America. Brendan and I function as the bank ourselves. All right.
Interesting.
Wrapping it up. So how do you even get Bitcoin? Well, you can buy it from an exchange, Cash App, Coinbase. You've probably heard those before. Binance is another big one. This is where you can actually purchase it from some very similar to if you would buy a stock from a stock exchange. And similar to gas prices, Bitcoin prices can change a lot over time. As supply and demand go up and down, it can fluctuate. So right now we're in a bull market. So prices have gone through the roof. As of March-ish of 2019, the price of Bitcoin was around $3,000 to $4,000, and now it's at $40,000, almost $50,000. So you can imagine this is a very volatile asset. So obviously there's a lot of risk associated with it as well. But where do you keep your Bitcoin? That's a great question. Most people store it on their computer or even have it in the cloud. This is a very important topic, so I'm not going to get into it. But keeping your Bitcoin safe is very important. You've heard a million articles of like people losing their keys. If you lose your keys, you don't have access to your Bitcoin, and ultimately you're losing your money. Think of it as like you drop your money down, a sewer, and your wallet's gone. Regardless of where you keep it, Bitcoin is pretty valuable, so keep it safe. And then the price of Bitcoin has gone up a lot. However, you can own a small slice. Small slices of it are called Satoshis. And really, that's it. So if you want to buy Bitcoin or you want to learn more about it, I highly recommend doing your research before. Cash App is a really good option to buy it. Cash App's also owned by Twitter, and it couldn't be easier to buy it if you're interested. Again, Brendan and I are not financial advisors. I just wanted to give context on what Bitcoin is because it's such a hot topic item. And you're probably thinking, I'm a designer, I'm a BD lead. Why do I care about this? Well, chances are, if you're designing an e-commerce site or you're working for a company, thinking about payment systems and cryptocurrencies and how different e-com companies are going to have to accept different forms of cryptocurrencies, primarily Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. That's going to be part of your design role, is to figure out simple ways that you can help people convert USD to these currencies and buy and transact, easily online. So that's Bitcoin. Tesla bought 1.5 billion. What's to come from this is that we'll probably see more companies start to pile on and invest in this asset, very similar to how people invest in gold during times of uncertainty. So Bitcoin was literally created for the scenario in the world that we're currently living in. So we'll see how this plays out. But Brendan, let me ask you, what do you think?
I'm still confused, man. I'm not even gonna lie.
Let's take two questions, because this is a very deep topic. I don't want to go too off the rails, but what's your top question right now?
I still don't. There's so much, and I would love to know from you guys in the chat. There's still so many inner workings of it. What is blockchain? Does it go on my wrist? What is?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even, because even the thing where it's just there's a limited amount of it. The same thing with cash until they decide to print more of it.
Right.
So I'm
that's a great point. So the 21 million. So basically, when the U.S. government, when we need more money, they can print it. That's what the Fed does, right? So we're one of the highest places of inflation of all time, mostly due to the pandemic, and having to give aid businesses, individuals, to ensure that the economy doesn't collapse. So that's why the U.S. government's printing money. Bitcoin is backed by math. So what that means is that the rules are set by the network. So we all decided that there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin ever created. The only way to change that is if 51% of the people decide to change it, which is very mathematically improbable. So,
but where do you cast that vote? Where is that ballot booth? There's so many questions, man.
Yeah, that's why you can go down a lot of rabbit holes. But basically, there's, it's an open source. Bitcoin's open source, which means that anybody can see the code and contribute to it. So anybody would have access to the blockchain. You can view the blockchain visually, and you can basically see the rules that are set. Without getting too into the weeds, basically there's a community of developers that can kind of look into this. But the more and more I read about it, it's mathematically almost impossible for the supply to change, which is where most of the value is coming from. The other thing is that the blockchain is backed by, it's one of the hardest, most secure ways, because it's you can't change it. So once a transaction happens, it's visible forever. And that's what gives it the most value, is that when you and I send money to each other, there's usually a third party involved. TD Bank, Venmo, etc. When you remove that middleman and you provide full transparency, that's actually adding a lot of value to people, because you don't need that third party intermediary that typically charges a fee or some other, they're basically not adding much value to the process, where if I just want to give you money, we can transact and do it for free. So there's I
don't know, man. It just seems skeptical.
I'm gonna ping over a.
We need a real financial Bitcoin advisor here.
We'll get someone legit on. I'm gonna ping this over to the two chats.
Yeah.
And you guys can kind of take a look at it. So, let me go to the Behance one real quick. Anyways,
because I'm
this is a long, drawn out explanation, but I think my best advice is to read about it, get inspired. If it's for you,
yes,
learn more.
That's our biggest thing. Tesla invested 1.5 billion, so obviously Musk is very invested in seeing where that goes. So it's definitely somewhere where we need to have our attention. That's why we wanted to bring it up here today. Even if we brought a little bit more
Elon Musk
into your
is
orbit.
the richest person in the world. He's trying to get people on Mars. So when he does stuff, people tend to listen. So whether or not you love or hate Elon Musk, he is pushing the boundaries of what we know is possible. So when he is basically publicly backing a technology like this, you know that he's done his homework. So I think that's also why we're seeing the price go up, is that more confidence in this idea is growing over time.
Exactly.
So let's lighten it up, Brendan. Let's switch. We planned this on purpose. Now we're going to go to a much lighter topic.
Selling clothes.
We're going to rebrand Design Huddle into the Tesla podcast, or we're not financial advisors, so don't take anything we say seriously.
We're just keeping our eyes where we think interesting things are happening and sharing it with you guys.
Yeah, and again, we can do a deep dive on another episode of how I think designers will have a massive competitive advantage if they understand the basics here, because they'll be able to get business consulting for e-com companies and anybody that's making transactions online. So there's definitely, we can connect the dots, as we continue along this journey. All right, I'm going to jump into this, Brendan, unless you have anything else to say about Bitcoin and Tesla.
Nope. I mean, if I did, that would be the entire podcast. We need one podcast about just Bitcoin so we can go back and forth.
We'll loop in. I would say I'm still very much exploring everything. I've read a couple books on it, but we'll get an expert on
lies. He's got all his investments in Bitcoin. He's a par investor with Tesla right now.
Dude, I wish I wouldn't be doing Design Huddle if that was the case, right?
If you follow Ryan on Instagram, you will see what I mean. My man is up on the ETFs of all the things.
Yeah, I like to follow the Bitcoin news a lot. But anyways, let's move on, just for everyone that's like, can you please skip ahead to the next section? So if you already knew about Bitcoin, sorry if that was a little too in the weeds or you already knew all that. But cool. Second topic, we're talking about minimalism. It's the pandemic. Everyone bought way more stuff than they probably need. There's the new minimalism documentary on Netflix that's been trending and everyone's kind of talking about. So Input recently put out an article about how to sell your old clothes, shoes, and other goods online. I think this is a great topic, right? Is that, how do we make less? How do we, everything that we own, how can we make sure it adds as much value to our lives as possible? I have been trying to become more thoughtful about the purchases I make. And I think this article does a good job of not being wasteful, not just throwing things out, but how can you either donate it or sell it online. So let's dive in. So whether you're trying to get rid of a few clothes or need to sell beloved collectibles for some cash, there's corners of the internet just for you. And no, I don't mean meet up with someone sketchy on Craigslist, weirdos to sell your stuff. You can do it all online. So plus there's no better time to quarantine, to clean out your closet or shoe collection. All right, so this is going to focus on shoes, but they're going to be available for multiple different types of places. So the first one is, if you're a sneakerhead, you collect shoes, males, females, anybody that has a ton of shoes. Fight Club is one of the most trusted places to sell your sneakers. The product often sells very quickly once you put it up, and you can adjust your pricing online. And if you have trouble selling it at the set price, unlike StockX, FC accepts lightly used shoes and has total lower fees as well. So basically, you can sell used shoes. Other places you have to have mid condition, perfectly never worn shoes. So Fight Club gives you the opportunity to, if they're lightly used, you can sell them on this platform. Brendan, I don't know this about you, but are you someone that has fly shoes? I know you're always rocking dope ties. No. But
I have the same dirty shoes from I don't.
What brand are they?
I don't even think they're on Amazon. They were 1945 or something, and I bought them because they were black.
Right, second question: is everything in your closet black?
Yes. Because how do I match clothes? How do you match blue with black or black with green? There's so many decisions, man.
Dude, you're the Zuckerberg of design, because Zuckerberg wore that same blue shirt, while he was growing Facebook. You're the same, always got. I picture your closet and you have the same outfit you're wearing now, but there's just 10 versions of it.
I have 5 of these. I have 1 tie. I have 2 of these, and I have multiple black pants.
Yeah, I back it. Are you brand loyal, or is it just whatever you find?
the brand loyalty is black. It's
just loyal to the color, not the company. I like that.
Exactly.
All right, cool. So if you're an IG model, because everyone knows Design Huddle is where all the IG models hang out and listen to, get updates on. Depop is great for getting listings up in under a minute. That's why I like Depop's. Actually, the UX is really cool if you haven't checked it out. The trendy clothes to do best here. So as the app has an influencer culture of its own, Depop takes one of the smallest commissions from your sale at 10%, and you get to name your own price on items. 10% to me still seems steep, so that's the one thing.
Yeah.
They're platforms, but think about it. They have millions of users. So if you and I posted it on Facebook in our area, or use Craigslist, it's much harder to get the word out. So I guess it's kind of like a finder's fee. But because you can set your own price, you can just increase the price that you would charge by 10%. So 10% gets kicked back to the company, and you're still making the amount of money that you wanted to.
I feel like that was a marketing play. Like, that is definitely not a small sum. I just feel like they decided to put a small sum in front of 10%.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I don't know why but it's on Android and iOS, as you can imagine. And if you're just interested on the design side of Design Huddle, the UX is pretty cool. It's they have there's some screenshots down here. It very much takes the Instagram vibe, but they do some cool stuff, and you can. It makes it really easy to sell. And this is like a trend that Brendan and I talked about last time, where social platforms are becoming e-commerce platforms more and more, right? And then e-commerce platforms are becoming more social. So this is a perfect example where we're living in this weird time where Instagram, people are going to buy there, and then places like this are turning into communities for people that like high-end fashion. So it's just a wild, wild time, but that's called Depop. Check it out. That's a cool one. All right, let's move on. Have you heard of Poshmark?
I think I've heard of this one first. But I really, going into what you were saying about this, I had a dream last night, and I really think it's true, man. I don't think people, and you guys in the chat can tell us what you actually think, but I don't, and maybe it's just me, I don't think that people will actually leave their homes. Regardless, like I said, this totally might just be me. The game changers know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I just think that it's so much. Did I tell you guys, or did I tell you where I went to the store and I was like, why do I have to leave my home to go to a grocery store to get something and wander up and down aisles that then takes me 45 minutes because they decided to move the chips in a more proper place.
Yeah, optimized location, because they're just
And I'm like, I could have just gone on what is it? Amazon, clicked my chips, and just have it sent to my house.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big Amazon Prime for groceries. I hate grocery shopping, so I'll pay I always tip the drivers really well. I will say that as a little flex for all the Design Huddle fans. Because that job sucks, so I always feel bad for people doing that. Delivery drivers in general have made so much money from me in the past year. Uber Eats, DoorDash. I think I'm I should be on the board of directors because I spend so much money at those companies.
Oh, dang. Yeah, so I think this stuff is interesting. I didn't mean to pause there, but I'm curious to know, how many people in the chat would actually, because I'm if I need pants, why would I go to the store to look at pants? I can look at the pants online, click buy, and it's there tomorrow.
So I think that's a good question. Would you ever go to one of these sites and buy something that's secondhand for cheaper? Or do you always have to have something that's new, that's never been owned previously?
Well, it depends. I don't think I would. It really depends. I would probably stalk the person who's selling it online first and just make sure what happened to that shirt, and I can kind of just be all right, what did this sweater go through? Or what's it called?
That's so hardcore. You're gonna find their Instagram handle and be oh, they wore that sweater in Ibiza. I definitely don't want that.
I mean, I'm probably less skeptical walking into a what are those places?
thrift stores.
like, yeah, I'm probably more comfortable doing that in thrift stores, so I can actually be like, all right, this has been on the shelf for a while, the bacteria or whatever, I can trust it. I know where I can kind of see, I'm here where it's been. But otherwise, where it's like online, I'm like, yo, they might be sitting on this, they might be wearing the pants that they're selling right now.
Yeah,
and I don't know.
I hear you. I'm a little like, it's like, I think the idea of like lightly used is important, but it gets a little, it's like, people can kind of like, extend the truth on like the descriptions, and it's just like hard to validate how it's been used. So yeah, it's way better to buy secondhand stuff for the environment. It's like, more cost conscious, but it's not something that I have a good habit of doing, unfortunately.
But Ryan, just answer this for everybody. Imagine someone farts in their pants and they're able to just put that as lightly used. Buy or no?
Well, I mean, my understanding is that it has to be like fully cleaned before they can sell it. But
all right, but even still, like that, just that there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I derailed this entire thing, but that just goes through my mind.
Secondhand, that's part of the, buying and selling online with these brands, is that there's, some concerns when using them. So the one we just talked about is called Poshmark. It's funny. This author from Input described it as Depop's ugly cousin. So it's basically like the cheaper version of Depop, which was like the influencer marketplace.
Yeah.
The next one was Grailed. I have never heard of this one before reading this article, but it's a site where
sounds
you can
like
sell...
skid marks.
Where you
Grailed.
Yeah, it's super weird. Which are separated into high-end designer streetwear, sneakers, classic menswear, or lower-end items. So they accept a larger range of streetwear resellers, and their commission fees are at 9%. So it seems like the average commission rate is somewhere between 7 and 15% on these sites. Still seems high, but I guess if you're selling, high-end stuff, people will buy it. So I don't know.
They dropped that 1% for the skid marks, man.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude. I just we can't not, dude. Like they decided to call their thing Grailed. I don't know. I just had to do it.
Yeah,
the 1%.
They need one of our.
We need to rebrand them. We need to contact them
that's what
today.
We have. Do you know how many brand strategists that have been on Design Huddle that could help them out? But
yes.
All right. Well, let's keep it moving. The Real is your go-to. They've got the most viewers in terms of design consignments. I'm not sure what that means, but beware their commission fee can be up to 50%. That's a hard
what is
pass.
Going
That's
on?
insane. Let's go check out the site though. Let's see if the site's good. Okay, this is one of my biggest pet peeves. Hey, let me check out this website. Let me throw complete this form in my face, and I can't click out of it. Like this is like a dark UX pattern that I cannot stand. So I have to complete this in order to continue. So you know what happens when I see this? This is a hard nope, or back, or X, back to the beginning. Let's move on. eBay. If you don't know eBay, and you didn't grow up in the 2000s. I guess eBay was around in the 90s too. But eBay is like, it's obviously a catch-all. That's the only place of all the ones that we've talked about. I've used eBay a ton. I've sold like so much stuff on eBay. I think it still is the OG of of like.
I trust it more than anything else. Yeah.
I think it's just like, you know what you're getting. It's like, if we step away from clothes, they have like great, electronics, and like they have some like really good quality stuff. I actually sold a car for my parents using eBay Auto, which is crazy because we got way more money than if we traded it in. So yeah.
Wow.
Someone drove from Michigan to Pennsylvania to pick it up, which I was like, the car is
and they
like,
picked it up?
The car was like it was like a Buick Regal. It was like it was not a nice car. But it was I was shocked that someone bought it, but I guess there's a market for everyone if the price is right. So Yeah, I mean, let's move. I mean, unless you have anything else, Brendan, I think this just kind of goes into some other ones. The last one was ThreadUp, which is like a
For the hoarder.
startup. What was that?
No, I was like, it said for the hoarder.
Yeah, this is like, they have some like, oh, here we go. These sites, man, these like pop-up notifications on all of these sites where you have to put in your email. It is such
Wait, is it for real? For real? Like,
Yeah,
there's
like,
no
it's the
way
same-
around it?
No, you can't. You have to sign up.
Wow.
Oh wait, I guess if you no, you have to. Literally, you can't. You get the black overlay, and to me, this is what they're valuing. They're saying we'd rather have 10 people come on and leave if we can get one person's email. When you know that most people are just going to be putting in like their fake emails.
Their EDU email
Yeah,
be like,
their
email my
spam-
college.
Their spam accounts, right? So
Yeah.
it's a joke.
Hey, but then that's how they get investors, right? Where they're like, yeah, we have so and so active emails
Well, that's what
or
they do.
email lists.
They're like, we have 100,000, people
Yeah.
signing up for our email newsletter, and they're all like our AOL accounts from 1994.
Yep.
Did you have were you ever on AOL Instant Messenger?
No, I didn't have.
Dude, are you too young for AOL Instant Messenger?
No, everybody in school was talking about it. I didn't have like a screen name or anything. People were talking about it at school, and I didn't know what it was.
I mean, it's like
I was in my room, guys. I was with my
I
Legos.
remember in 5th grade, we would spend the entire day talking to each other, or not talking to each other in person because we were like, nervous 5th graders. And then we would go home to go online to talk to everyone. It was like the weirdest, and that was like the start of like this like, millennial internet culture where we like grew up online. And I remember my first AOL, my AIM handle was Ryan the Cool 12. So I was like, that's a throwback. So whenever I need spam, like, or like, you have to sign up for this, these like bullshit, like, forms when you enter a site, I always like throw in like my old AOL account.
Dang.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the last topic. Yeah, just to tie a bow on the last thing. So we'll add the input link if you want it. Is just how to sell used old clothes, sneakers, and shoes online. You can find it pretty easily if you just search it, but we'll also drop it in the show notes. Big takeaway here is that there's a huge opportunity right now. You probably bought more stuff than you need during this pandemic, so you can sell it, repurpose it, donate it, give it to someone else instead of throwing it out and being wasteful. So that's my take. We didn't talk too much about minimalism, but I would just, my one thing I would say is check out the minimalism documentary on Netflix. And the main takeaway is, you don't need, try to make sure that everything in your life adds value or gives you happiness or serves a purpose. And I think if you do one of those 3 things, then you're going to be in good shape.
Yeah.
What?
I said stay inside, folks.
Yeah, dude, you need to get some. I'm gonna make you like stop halfway through each episode and get some fresh air. Open a window.
All right, hold on. Y'all have to hear this, then we can move on. So, I'm not sure. A lot of you guys are very new to me, or even if you guys are listening to it on the podcast. Like, if you just type in my name, I used to be Swole McGee. I don't even know if that's a thing, but I used to be jacked as I don't know what, like 180, like strong, swole, big swole, capital all letters. And now my terrible self can barely pedal for 15 minutes on my little $500. It's not an elliptical. I only call it elliptical because my legs go in circles when I'm on it. What is it? A recumbent bike? And
yeah,
I'm basically 50 at 27, right? And when I'm walking, so it snowed the last couple of days, right? Or what? Last week where there was like actual good snow.
Wait, so what about the snow?
I'm trying to get to the point of like why I don't go outside.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, you know, I think it snowed last week. Like, it was a good chunk of snow. It was either that week or the week before.
Mm-hmm.
And me and my partner went walking, and man, just stepping in the snow, my stabilizer muscles, my body was like, and we were not even going up inclined hills or land. It was just going, and just the scrunch of the snow and diverting to the side. My leg was like, what is this? I literally, for a year, I have been sitting. That is all I've been, sitting and laying. And my body is like, what is going on? So
hold on, I gotta show you this GIF for anybody watching. There's this hilarious GIF of this guy. Hold on a second, I gotta find it. But when you were saying that, I just pictured there's just like hilarious GIF that somebody's sent me. I gotta find it. Shoveling. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, the takeaway from that, Brendan, is that you need to get outside more. I'm going to force you as your co-host and friend that you're spending too much time inside, and you'll feel better if you get outside a little bit often.
I will attempt. I was trying. We'll get into the next topic, but we'll leave this last. This will be our quote unquote like tweet of the
this is our
tweet of the day if I can find this.
Yeah, let's see if this loads. But if not a big deal. Giphy is like not known for their fast loading. Where is it? I don't see it. It usually comes up like right. All right, one more search.
One more look.
Last look. 10 seconds. If we can find it for everyone watching as a little carrot for your patience, this will be worth it. But it's this guy who's shoveling, and he takes him like. He's basically shoveling it. I can't find it. I'll send it to you. Join the Discord. If you're not on our Discord, you got to get on it. I'll drop it in the Discord.
Get on the Discord.
I owe you guys. All right, last topic. Let's get into it. Disney Plus. They hit 94.9 million subscribers, so just south of 100 million. This beats their 4-year goal in 14 months. Wild. And that's not even counting everyone who recently signed up for their hit show WandaVision. So Disney Plus, reached 94 million around the world. The company announced in its Q1 2021 earnings report, Hulu has 39.4 million, while ESPN Plus has 12.1 million subscribers. And the strong numbers for Disney Plus show a noticeable jump from the 86 million subscribers that they announced it had reached on its investor day in December 2020. The surge in subscribers likely came from the holiday streaming services of the major titles like Pixar's Soul, which is an awesome new Pixar movie, and of course The Mandalorian Season 2, which I'm a big fan of, is pretty awesome. It was also means that Disney has already crossed its original 90 million subscriber goal for its service, a number for the company originally expected to take 4 years to reach. So they've done it in way faster than that. And I think 14 months was the time frame that they were able to do this in. The company has since revised that 4-year plan with a new goal of reaching between 230 million and 260 million subscribers by 2024. Wow. Wild. So first off, Brendan, do you pay for Disney Plus?
I do not pay for Disney Plus. However, I do. I think I have like a year free through Verizon, which I've always been really curious about, like how Disney or Verizon does those deals. Like who reaches out to who, and what is the payment between or the partnership?
I think the idea is that if they can get, like I'm guessing here, but I got so if Disney Plus and Verizon had a deal. The idea is that if, like, I don't know, think about it, you have a credit card on file, and then after the year's up, like, a lot of times people just, like, leave their credit card, and then it's like auto-charging, and then you don't even realize you're paying for it. So if you can get, like, I don't know, 10% of the people doing that, you probably offset the cost that it costs them to, like, host and stream all that content.
This is
true.
So
I don't know obviously I don't know the math behind it, but the deals are probably pretty straightforward, right? Where it's like, get Verizon and Disney Plus. Disney Plus gets their brand out there. They get more and more people talking about it. And then they're getting basically this guerrilla marketing of people saying, Disney Plus is great. So, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I do pay for it right now. It's cheap. I think it's only like $7. with the deal that
So
I
you
have.
do Netflix, Hulu, and you all. I think you were saying that you were the subscription master last week.
So I do. Yeah, I have 4 subscriptions. So it comes out to be like, I think like all in, like maybe around $50 between the 4 I use. But
Ha!
I don't have cable, so I don't pay. I'm a
True.
long time cord cutter, so I don't have basic cable. So basic cable is easily, $90, $100, whatever, and depends on where you're at. If you get like a normal package, so I still think it's a 50% price cut for, in my opinion, better content. Like I don't care about like local news and like cable television. So that's my take.
Yeah, I think what this shows mostly is I'm actually really interested. This kind of moves into how are movies. What is the new business model of movies? And if because you can kind of see now you have like Amazon originals, you have Netflix originals, like how just like in the video game industry where PlayStation, there's certain. I'm not even entirely sure how this exactly works, but the ecosystems are kind of changing. Where I'm not entirely. Do you have insight into how like movies come about and how they go with, or even shows, like how shows go with networks, basically?
Yeah,
that same sort of.
I think they signed. So like Netflix had to pay a premium early on, right, where they were operating at a loss to get shows like The Office, Parks and Rec, and then recently, because NBC is owned by Peacock, which is owned by Comcast. They had to move, so Netflix no longer has The Office and Parks and Rec, so NBC has all that content. So that's what's going to happen, right? Is that these siloed networks are going to have deals. That's why this Disney Plus was huge. Think about every classic Disney movie that we used to buy on, VHS and DVD in the 90s and 2000s is now all available in a library that you can watch. Like, it's insane that they were able to do that. And a little part of me was like, I really wish I got in the Disney bandwagon earlier because the stock's gone through the roof, even though that the parks have been closed. Like if you're getting this many users streaming, like Netflix already has the playbook that this is going to work. So I don't know. This is where I think this is going. I think it's just going to be like content in the future is just going to be like which streaming service or which Netflix type competitor are you going to go with, and how many are you going to pay for? And then they're going to drop movies to get like more new people that are interested in the door. So like Star Wars fans, if you don't care about original Disney movies, they also have Lucasfilms. So that gives the entire Star Wars franchise. So that's the other thing is they're diversifying.
As long as they don't mess it up.
Yeah.
Please, God.
Yeah. That's so funny. It's so true though. But yeah, that's that one's pretty straightforward. I just wanted to get anyone else's take on that and hear if anybody else has any thoughts on this. Is there any chat? Let's take a quick look at the chat. And if you're listening to this podcast and you're kind of confused when Brendan and I say the chat, we basically stream Design Huddle from 2 places: YouTube, YouTube, and what's the other one, Brendan? I'm missing.
YouTube. YouTube and Behance.
Yeah, YouTube and Behance. There's literally only 2, and I'm drawing a profile. I need some more coffee. So you can join and watch the live stream if you want more visuals. If not, just go to Design Huddle, which is dropped every Monday at 9 a.m. If you want to listen to the audio versions.
Yes, and don't forget to leave a review.
Yeah. We're at a 4.9 on Apple. So if you're on iOS, drop it on Apple. And then you can obviously find us anywhere, anchor.fm/Design Huddle. Our Twitter is Design Huddle Pod. Our Instagram, Design Huddle Pod. We're really trying to take this podcast to the next level. So we're plugging our socials just so we can kind of continue to engage with everyone. And the place, if you forget anything from today, at the bottom of every one of our episodes, we have a Discord chat that Brendan built out, which is literally insane. He walked me through it the other day. It's like insanely impressive on how he was able to build this. So,
I wasn't able to build it. We have, and he's in the chat, by the way. Shout out to Gonzalo. My man has been amazing.
Dude, crushed it. It's unbelievable. Well done. But yeah, I think the Discord is an amazing community, so check that out. Anything I missed, Brendan? I know I was just plugging a lot of stuff there, but
no, that's really it, guys. Remember, reviews. If you can spare the time you like dealing with our skid mark talk. earlier today, or just you enjoy me and Ryan in any aspect. Ryan is also in our Discord chat as well, giving all tips, etc. We're happy to have him. We finally got him.
Yo, shout out to someone that just followed us. Cozy Cute Shop.
Much love. Hey. And also our mini tweet for the day. This was me back in the day, guys. Literally 5 years.
Yo, get it, dude.
And now I can't walk in snow. So, there's that. I don't know what I was eating.
Drop
it was
that
a lot
in
of beef.
Discord. If you're listening, this photo, this will be worth it.
Yeah, if you guys are listening to the audio, we'll put it in the show notes just in case you get thirsty.
Yeah.
The sweat will quench your thirst. All right, guys, we will be back. Like I said, you can find us in the Discord. Ryan is in there. I am in there. And PSA, if you guys are, regardless whether you're on the podcast listening or you're here today, we are having Among Us Day. So around 3 p.m. EST, we're going to be chilling and chatting in the Discord. And then at 5 p.m. EST, we're going to have some Among Us challenges. All right, we're going to play Among Us with each other and see who's the most sneaky. So other than that, Ryan, anything else to say to the chat before we close out?
No, thank you guys for joining this episode. Be well, and we'll catch you next week at the same time as always.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. See you on the next one, and we will be back in just a moment to do some designing. So see you in a few. Be back.
Peace.
Bye. You want to be one of the hottest creative designers in the world. You want to build your talent, your skills through hard work, and more importantly, surround yourself with a team of individuals who are striving towards greatness with you. And yet you sit there and you ask yourself, Brandon, does a place like this exist? And my answer to you would be, of course, motherfucker, that's exactly what we are doing in our Discord. We are the Game Changers. We are a group of designers, artists, creatives that want to take our skill sets, talents, and dreams to the next level. Come together, give feedback on each other's work, give resource, and laugh, a lot of it, and help push each other to be our best selves. If you're interested in becoming the next best you and quite possibly brand yourself while chatting with many friends, join your new design family today.